The COVID-19 disease, which is a respiratory disease, is from this new virus, and it actually stands for the coronavirus disease 2019. Now, it started late 2019 and it originated in Wuhan, China. However, it quickly spread in early 2020 around the globe. Now, this caused the WHO, or the World Health Organization, to call it a pandemic in March of this year. Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Anderson, and welcome to the Main Health Show. As you can see, if you are a viewer of the show, that the scenery is a little bit different, and that is why we are in my home and not at the Main Health Studios filming today. We want to make sure that the camera people and the studio staff maintains their health as well, especially during this stay safe, work at home work order that we have in place here in San Antonio. So I'm taping safely from my home, and I also want to welcome a guest to the Main Health Show, and we're going to talk about the impact of this virus in the beauty community. I have with me Nicki Murrell, who in the industry we affectionately know her as Miss Nikki. Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Just to kind of give the viewership a little background, I'm going to read a little bit of your bio, but then at the end, I will really welcome you to elaborate a little bit more.
Okay.
Nicki Murrell, also known as Nikki, is an Air Force disabled veteran, formerly in the accounting field. Her current career is a professional hairstylist with 25 years of experience in the beauty industry. She is the owner and stylist of Beauty Connection and Man Up Nail Services, also located inside Beauty Connection. Nikki is an educator, and she is a platform artist for several styling teams such as Revlon and Loran Hair Products. Nikki's also a strong advocate for volunteering in the community, as well as participating in the political area. Nikki, do you mind just kind of giving a little bit more information about some of these passions of yours in the community?
Okay. Seems like we're having technical difficulty.
Okay.
But can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Okay. Okay, great. Yes. Well, in my field, I feel that we're psychiatrists, unlicensed psychiatrists, and unlicensed psychologists. I have a lot of customer service experience I was in accounting and finance. That field, it helped me somewhat filter into the corporate field in accounting and finance. After 8 years of accounting and finance in the Air Force, I went on to be an accounting supervisor for Kinetic Concepts. Well, after 4 years of being an accounting supervisor, I just wasn't being satisfied with my day-to-day routines. And I had to do something that would satisfy me. And I kept thinking cosmetology. I've been able to do hair for a long time. I just didn't know if I should be a professional stylist. I had friends that did it. And back in the day when it started, it was just a lot of press and curl and then jerry curls. It wasn't everything that it is today. And that's what intrigued me about becoming a hairstylist. So I decided to go that route. Well, as far as doing that route, my dream was eventually to own my own salon. It was a dream to own a bigger salon, but I didn't. But I'm very, very satisfied where I'm at now. Okay, the thing about me talking about being an advocate for volunteering with the community, I feel that we have to give back. We should give back. It's I mean, it's just something that should be done. I don't even care if you're not doing well or whatever. To me, the biggest blessing is when you can give back when you don't have anything. It's not about how much you give, it's not about how long, it's not about what you do. It's about what's in your heart, your compassion for people,
I agree.
your compassion for the less fortunate. You know, people think that they have a story and they're doing bad until you listen to a whole lot of other stories.
That's so true.
When my daughter was younger, she was in the Girl Scouts, and she was in the Black Girl Scouts on the East Side, where there was a Black Girl Scout troop. Well, I wanted her to learn what it was to be where she was as a young girl, 8, 9, 10 years old. And I took her to the homeless under the bridge to help feed the homeless. And when she did that on our way home, she's always been a deep thinker. She was looking out the window, and I said, "What's wrong, Ebony? What's wrong with you?" And then tears just started rolling down her eyes. And she said, "Mom, that was so touching." And I said, "Really?" I said, "What did you feel about it?" She said, "I didn't know children and teenagers were homeless as well."
Wow.
I said, "Yes, if their parents are homeless, they're homeless."
Yeah.
And she said, "That was just so sad." So that's when I was like, I really have to introduce her into being compassionate for others as well, because she was blessed just as well as I am. I also am blessed because I felt given back to the homeless and pregnant teenagers with the George Gervin Youth Center. Those girls, they were either on drugs and got kicked out of their homes. None of their families would take them. Nobody would help them during a hard time. And I know a lot of them gave their families problems, but they had no one. They had no one to encourage them. Some of them were homeless and pregnant. Some of them were homeless, pregnant with at least one child. Some of them were homeless with no children. They just needed encouragement. So that's when I took them on to go ahead and help them by doing fundraisers, taking them to the movies, dinner fundraisers, getting together bags of toiletries, encouragement, certificates, you know, just having, you know, really good activities for them. Well, our current president has cut that program drastically. Now they can only hold those girls for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Before, they could stay in there until they transitioned out at the age of 18, and then they can put them in an adult program. Well, now when they're homeless, they can only stay there for 2 weeks. So it's really, really sad now. But like I said, I just did what I could do at that time.
Yeah.
The other part is politically. Us as African Americans, we don't know enough about the political system to do anything to help us. You know, a lot of African American people, other races as well, but a lot of African American people, I hear this often: "I'm not gonna vote. My vote doesn't count. My vote doesn't count." You know, they already have made up in the mind what they're gonna do for the system. And I'm like, it's not just the presidential vote. You know, that's fine if you feel that way, but you got to understand it's bigger than you. It's bigger than just the president. You have city laws that you have to vote on, city propositions. You know, when it comes to zoning, when it comes to property taxes, when it comes to programs for your community, it's much more bigger than you think. And that goes from the public vote. So to me, if you don't vote, that goes for a vote for the opposition of what you don't want. So you know, my thing is, you can't complain.
Yeah. So
You know?
what I wanted to share with you, you made some very, very good points. And I know that we were talking earlier that one of the possible crossing points that you and I may have had in meetings would have been at the getting the children that are in protected company back to school, because volunteering is very, very important for us as individuals, as professionals, and just it's just general good practice to do so. But I kind of want to feed off of your political tip, because recently with this, we started off talking about the COVID-19.
Right.
I kind of want to go back and talk a little bit and how it is affecting us in the beauty industry. Initially, I asked you to be a guest because we're on a private group of San Antonio beauty stylists and barbers. And there was a question that you were asking about a week ago about when we were going to be up under any type of stay-at-home order, or whether or not we were essential or essential. You kind of want to talk about that and how that transpired.
Okay, yes. With the COVID-19 coronavirus, well, coronavirus is a COVID-19. The way that I was trying to speak for us is I was trying to talk to officials, the mayor, for one, TDLR, which is Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. I talked to code compliance. I was just trying to talk to any officials that could help, like, regulate us so we can qualify for government funds. Some people were saying that, Nikki, well, you have your husband, and a lot of us don't have that. So we need to continue to work. So, you know, your point that you're making is like you're down in the people that's less than. That's not my point. I could easily be in your situation. Have I always been set up correctly? No. You know, this is something that my husband and I worked for. It's not something that just laid in my lap.
Yes.
So my thing was, I needed to talk about how we can be represented and regulated to shut down. No one wanted to take that responsibility. The mayor didn't want to take it because then we would have to get government funding.
Yeah.
TDLR said that they were not at liberty to shut us down, but keep in mind, they're at liberty to come visit our shop whenever they want to without notification, to check out our licenses, make sure that the correct people are working under those licenses, they're not expired, to check our EPA standards, to check anything that's supposed to be and not supposed to be.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
you have someone in there working illegally, they can shut you down. Or if you have a stylist in there with a expired license, they can give you a warning, or they can say right then and there, she needs to stop working, and you close your doors.
Yeah.
We're gonna fine you $10,000. We're gonna fine her $2,000. That stylist can go to TDLR and work out a payment system and renew their license.
Yeah.
Stylists can do that. Owners cannot. And people don't understand that. Owners cannot do that.
Yeah.
We cannot open our doors until that $10,000 is paid. So you have Texas Department of License and Regulation being that strict on us, but then you can't regulate us to shut down and find out if there's any grants or money that can help us. It's not right.
So we're going to talk a little bit more and elaborate on that, but you're talking about exactly what I wanted to bring out today. Now, I think the reading some of the posts and also participating in other groups about what was going on before we received the stay-at-home order, it seemed like state after state, city after city was enacting, first of all, identifying our profession in the beauty industry as non-essential. So as we were getting trickle down information, they were not willing to really identify us as being in that category. And so I think that by us having a private group, a platform to be able to discuss it around amongst ourselves, really gave us more empowerment to be able to, as you did, and I appreciate you for being an advocate. Sometimes I kind of step back on things because I want to be effective with things. Right. And it's the way how you approach a thing. So I appreciate you for taking on that and being an advocate for us, but I saw the messages, talking to the mayor. And I really want to say this, Mayor Nuremberg, I'm sure we see leaders, and a lot of times people say, I can do that. It is hard being in leadership. But
Oh, yes.
but there were some hard questions and things that needed to have been enacted. So you bring up a good point because I am a facilitator owner. I own a salon, a treatment facility for hair loss. And I do, because I'm regulated under TDLR, I do recognize that they can come in at any moment and they can mandate things and they can enforce it. So you picked up a good point there. For whatever reason, they were not willing to make that call in this situation.
Exactly. And that was my main point. It wasn't that, I know Mayor Nuremberg at this time is super busy. I know this. His staff was the one that told me, and I know it's per his instructions.
Yeah.
We're not at liberty to regulate you all. Okay. Can you find out who is?
Yeah.
Can the mayor find out who is?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a candidate for Bexar County Democratic chair that she was trying to get in contact with the mayor to see if he can reiterate on what I was asking. It was like we were left out.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
we couldn't get regulated, nor could we get, I don't know, it was like they couldn't pinpoint where we belong. And that was a hurtful feeling.
Yeah.
That was a hurtful feeling, especially with me being in a professional field before. It made me feel like less than.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's already people that look down on us as it is, that don't take us serious in our field. So for top officials and top groups to like just drop the bomb on us, I was like, no, I have to say something. I have to make us be accountable.
Well, acknowledge, just to be able to acknowledge that we're here, we're doing a service. And it's funny because a lot of my clients think that we are essential, but that's
exactly.
on a whole nother thing. But seriously, you know, initially before the order, the the safe order was enacted, they did say that they were encouraging everyone to do the 6-foot social distancing. So when that came out the week before, it was a hard decision. I'm sure for you, I know it was for myself and the others that took it on. I immediately closed because there was no brainer for me. There was no way I could effectively take care of my clients from 6 feet away. We are very, in close proximity type of service provider. But I closed, and it was just days later that I saw your posting, and you were able to keep us abreast on who you were talking to, what was said, that finally we were included. Now, I do want to address, you did touch on it earlier, because I want to dissect it, because we need to make each other accountable in this industry. That there was some comments about you, oh, you're a retired veteran, you and your husband are set up, and it's not going to affect you. I truly believe that's not the case, but you know, I can only imagine, how does that make you feel? Kind of talk about that and what was levied against you, and I'm going to follow up.
Okay, to be honest with you, it was like, in other words, you be quiet because you don't count. It's none of your business. This doesn't apply to you. When they don't understand, everything about my business is taken care of from me.
Yeah.
So it does affect me. I am a disabled veteran.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I can survive my business on my disability money, but it's every penny of it.
Yeah.
It's every penny of it. Thank God I have a husband who's retired as well as a disabled veteran, because he's able to take care of the household part. But it doesn't make me any better than anyone else. You know, it made me feel really bad for someone to think that that's the way I am, or that's
Yeah.
that's the way that my life is set up, because I'm no more fortunate than anyone else.
Exactly.
Everyone is blessed own world.
Yeah.
Even from stylists that have worked in my salon, I have helped some of them know the business side of opening a salon.
Yeah.
And some of them that have opened a salon, I have taken them step by step on things to do to open your salon.
So that's your heart as an educator. And I felt that. This is our first time really actually meeting. But
Right.
I read, this is the thing, I have to caution people. We're all going through something. If we're breathing and living
Right.
and walking around, we're all going through something. But I caution people that just because you're frustrated, just because you know what situation you're going through, we have to practice some sense of kindness, compassion.
Right.
Everybody is affected different. So when I read that comment, I believe with the gentleman, I'm not going to name any names. I could if I wanted to, but
Right.
it's just the fact. And then you were challenged by other stylists because they felt the need to stay open. Now, I will never mandate anybody do anything. I wanted to be socially responsible. That's the way I partook it. So I closed. But there were people who they knew what they had on them, whether it's bills or other responsibilities. They wanted to stay open. However, the chances were you could come in contact with somebody. So I understood where you were coming from. I too sometimes feel that people, because I practice trichology and hair replacement, they put you in a different category. Now, I practice under my TDLR licensure for my trichology and for my hair replacement. I did extensive studies to specialize in those, but what allows me to touch people is my license. So like you, for someone to make you feel like you don't matter in this industry, I just wanted to have you to come on to tell you do, and that I appreciated you standing on the sidelines. I was, but you handled yourself. I was ready if I needed to get in there, but I like the way professionally, eloquently that you were able to diffuse the situation and to explain exactly what you were doing on our behalf. And eventually, what happened, what was needed to happen, that we were included in the stay home order.
Exactly. It's one of the things when I talk to code compliance, um, one of the things they suggested, which is the same thing that the mayor's staff was suggesting, that, well, just take one person at a time. And when you take that one person, don't have anyone else in there and work on that one person. When you get done, sanitize everything, make sure, you wash your hands and sanitize everything, and then let the next person come in. My point to them and to the mayor is, that sounds like a great idea, but think about it. You take that one that doesn't have symptoms, but has the virus.
Yes.
That person passes it to you, that one person.
Yes.
I can't kill it with sanitizing anything. If that's the case, nobody would have it, or it wouldn't be passed the way it is. And then I take my next client, and she gets it.
Yeah.
I take my next one, and they get it.
Yeah.
Then the next day, I take my 90-year-old mom to a doctor's appointment, and she gets it. I come home and give it to my husband. My daughter and her fiance comes to visit me, and they get it. It's just, the list will go on and on and on. I just couldn't jeopardize that.
Yeah. And exactly, that is why, the social distancing thing that was enacted was great, but it just didn't go far enough. Now we know, even with the order that's in place, people are still not complying. I would really suggest for people to stay updated. This is not to make anybody be fearful, but just be aware. I think it's sanantonio.gov that you can be updated on the number of cases. They even have it broken down in zip codes. But it's about being socially responsible. You may feel great, but I think the thing is not try to live where we don't get it. It's almost live as if you think you have it, and then protect other people around you. And I think that's going to be the best way for us to kind of deal with it. Act like you already have it, but you're trying to make sure you don't infect somebody else. And I think that would help people to be a little bit more responsible. Now, in the beauty industry, because many of those are self-employed or they're independent contractors relying on the money that they make. We work very hard for our money, but not being able to service people. I believe there are different things in place through the Small Business Administration. Of course, this $2 trillion stimulus package that was just enacted last week. I think there's something through the PBA, the Professional Beauty Association, that is offering $500. Do you know of anything else that is available?
Yes, there is. Oh, you talked about the Professional Beauty Association.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking up. I don't have my paperwork with me. I was trying to look up, which I'm gonna share, trying to look up some more grants for us to, that's available for us to apply for.
Yeah.
What people also need to know for the unemployment, it's like almost impossible to get through right now.
Yeah.
Understandable, because the number of people trying to get through,
Yeah.
but people need to go in and set up their username and ID with the Texas Workforce Commission website. They also need to set up their electronic conversation ID, because you're going to be able, once you get things rolling, you're going to be able to, talk to them electronically, and go in and fill out the paperwork for the unemployment. Now, from what I know, a lot of things are not set up completely for us yet, even though you're able to check the box for coronavirus. But when you get to the end, I guess since everything is not set up, you have to contact Texas Workforce
Commission. And that's good to know. I'm glad that you brought that up, because there is a benefit for some that are going to be able to take advantage of unemployment insurance. So that's good. I appreciate you bringing it out. Now, I'm not affiliated with the PBA. I'm like you. Anytime I hear something that I feel like can bless somebody, I'm putting it out there. But I was contacted, I believe it was yesterday, about someone who, they private messaged me because they were concerned. Someone was like, well, they've been telling people, a group of people don't apply for it because they ask too many questions. Now, although I am not affiliated with it, like you, I understand business. If they are going to be gifting you money, they're vetting you to make sure, and I understand, I was told that they are by donors only.
Right.
So they have a limited resource that they're trying to provide people. So they want to make sure that the funds are getting to those who need it immediately. Of course, we all want the money, but there are some people who need it possibly more so than others. And just like the toilet paper situation, people are going out causing mayhem, doing stuff because they want it. It's not necessarily needed. So I would just encourage people, if you don't want to answer the questions, don't do anything that you feel is uncomfortable to you. You feel like they're too invasive. However, in order for people to substantiate a need, they're going to ask questions. But there are other resources besides the PBA. I'm glad you brought up the Texas Workforce Commission. And if you're viewing outside the Texas area, the unemployment service in your vicinity, whether it's your state, will be able to help you. And then the small business, I think they're offering a loan and a grant. Depends on how it is that you're set up.
And I can elaborate on the Small Business Loan Association, because I talked to them before anything was even shut down.
Okay.
So when I talked to them, the proposal was out, but it hadn't been approved yet. And there was a lady that was telling me about what they're going to do with the profit, for-profit and nonprofit. For-profit is us, the self-employed stylists, that it was going to be a loan available to us up to $10,000 at 3.75% interest. Anything above that was going to be highly difficult to get because then you go into more than 50 employees.
Okay.
So that's more than $10,000. Now, also the nonprofit organizations, their interest rate was going to be 0, but now I think they put it to 2.75%. The repayment, because my question was, how could somebody take out a loan right now, not knowing when you're going to be able to work again to start your repayment schedule? Well, the repayment schedule starts a year after you're approved for the small business loan. And the repayment schedule can be anywhere. You can schedule it with them 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, all the way up to 30 years. I wouldn't encourage that, but you can do that. Also, with that small business loan, it's also tax deductible as well. So, I mean, you're not totally out of it, but the only thing to me is qualifying for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people have a problem with their credit, and I can tell you at the lowest credit score that they may take you is 620 right now. So I'm not
saying to qualify a whole bunch of people just right off the bat. Possibly.
Yes. So if you have a score lower than 620, I wouldn't say don't qualify.
Don't apply.
Don't try it. You can still try it. Only thing they can tell you is no.
True.
But still look for other resources.
Yeah.
The only thing about it is, if you're looking for a big amount, they're going to want collateral.
Yeah.
Even with the smaller amounts, they may want some type of collateral. Yeah. And I'm thinking it's going to be depending upon what you're asking for. So, like I said, you can apply for it. You're going to need a lot of paperwork. You're going to need your taxes, I think, for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You're going to need like your bank statements, the total amount of money you were making on an average month, on a year. It goes really extensive into questions, because don't forget, you're asking them for money.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's something, but me, myself, I never got a business loan even to start my business. I just built up to building more and more as I went on. I started my salon with just being able to work in it. And then I built from there. Yeah. The same thing with this stuff going on. I would just look up grants and everything, and then just try to do what I can, work with your landlords and everything on payments. The fact of the matter remains, there's no landlords that can send an eviction right now.
Yeah.
So, maybe there's other ways of you being able to work on it. Definitely unemployment. Yeah. Unemployment, I think the max per week is like $386. But depending on what you make per week, they're going to take yours and say you max out at the $386. Yeah. They're also going to add $600 to that. Okay. So, and that's everybody that's self-employed. They're going to add $600. So at the max you're looking at is $986 per week. Mm-hmm.
So that's
with that,
that is great.
Yeah, and you still get a stimulus check. You're still going to get that has nothing to do with the unemployment.
Yeah.
So the 986, what I would suggest is, people don't think that they have to pay taxes on the money that they get from unemployment. Well, you do.
Yeah, they do.
And you can elect to take the federal income tax out of your check, which I recommend. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't see
on the
it,
front end instead of on the back end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna pay at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that. To me, just take it. It's not money that I've seen anyway.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
A lot of good resources off the top of my head. I'm thinking about Lift Fund.
Right.
Here in San Antonio, I got an email right before our visit, and I really did not get to look over it. I just kind of.
You know what? I did see the lift was the other one
Okay.
that I was talking about.
Yes,
And
lift one has
that was one that I just looked into it last night.
Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, there are different resources out there because we are in the beauty industry. We have an affinity and a heart for our colleagues. Just wanted to come on and bring some resources, bring a little clarity, ask for compassion and kindness. I have a private group, another private group on Facebook that I'm the administrator for. Now this person is out of the country. I think she's in Australia, she's somewhere, I forget, forgive me if you view this and I don't know your country, but they're still able to work. And because of that, she's getting a lot of backlash from people in the States or other areas. And she was like, the people in the beauty industry are so cruel. We just have to take consideration where people where they are. If she's legally allowed to still work and her social, her conscience doesn't bother her to do so, we shouldn't be negative. Even if you disagree with someone, have a conversation, but let's be civil.
Exactly.
We're all in this together.
We are.
We're
It's
in this
one
together.
big family at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, hey sis.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, cuz. Hey, Amy.
Yeah.
You know, hey, sis.
Yes.
That's
Yes. So we're in it together, and this is going to be the catalyst for how the way we begin it is the way it's pretty much going to end. So we need to just start trying to do the right thing right now while it's easier to do. You know, it's easy to be kind. Just practice it.
Yeah.
So,
And I just want to say for the record, I don't look down on other people that are less fortunate than me. I always help. You can ask the stylists that have worked in my salon. You can ask stylists that don't even work in there now. I still do.
yeah.
I could easily be that stylist in their situation.
There for the grace of God go you and me, for real, for real.
Exactly. So that's why, you know, that really hurt for someone to think that of me because I'm talking to advocate for us. It was hurtful.
I felt
But
the pain.
yes, but I'm okay. I'm still gonna talk. You don't have to listen. It's just advice. And like I said, if I can't lead a thirsty horse to the water if they're not willing to go drink it.
Oh, great. That is so great. That's pretty much where we're going to end it. I think we've had a great discussion. I appreciate your time. But I'll say this, I'm sure that once this coronavirus is over and we're back to work, or even maybe during the situation as it is now, some stylists maybe want to reach out to you, kind of give some information about the name of your salon, how to get in contact with you, where you're located, please.
Okay. Yes. The name of my salon is Beauty Connection. I'm located on Walsham Road and Austin Highway. The physical address is 4407 Walsham, Walzem Road, Suite 108, and that's downstairs. San Antonio, Texas, 78218. My phone number is 210-884-1927. I do have a Facebook page, 2 of them, Beauty Connection, and that's 2 Beauty Connection pages. And I also have a Man Up Nail Service page, Man Up Therapeutic Nail Services. Or you can get on my personal page and message me. In fact, that's how Stephanie got in contact with me. And that's under Nicki, Nicki Murrell, Murrell. Again, you're welcome to call me, text me at any time at 210-884-1927, or you can email me, Libya, B as in boy, IA, 47 at gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing any questions you may have, or you want to discuss something. Hey, I'm all ears. Let's talk about this field and let's talk about what we can do. I also want to, once this thing is over, it may even be before then, I may put it on the Stylist Barber page. Eventually, I know another girl that was talking about, she has an investment group with stylists. I'm still thinking about inviting stylists to do an investment group. I'm still learning about a lot of investments. To be honest with you, 2 years ago, my husband and I paid our house off by investments. And so I want to, right now it's a bear market, which means you can buy.
Yeah.
And it's the stocks are extremely low.
Yes.
So I do want to talk to some stylists about that. They may not be able to invest in any, but they'd be surprised at how much they can do right now.
If nothing else, sometime in calamity, there's a blessing. So it may not feel like it right now, but this may be an opportunity to do something you've always wanted to do. Or just consider different things, just to brush up on things maybe that you feel like you're laxed at. But if nothing else, we have plenty of time to do that.
Yes.
So I just want to thank you, Nikki, and yes, I did reach out to you on your personal Facebook. I messaged and thank you so much for being so open.
No problem.
And so warm to my invitation. So, okay.
Thank you for inviting me. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And this is not going to be, I foresee, our last time interacting.
No, ma'am, because I have a lot to talk to you about listening to you.
Okay, dear. Thank you so much. So this is going to be for this episode of the Main Health Show. This is Stephanie Anderson wishing you health, wellness, and abundant blessings. Take care until next time. Bye-bye.